today on Divorce Court.
So I'm here because the first 8 months of our marriage was amazing. And then after that, it kind of all went downhill. Zurich's condescending attitude and the way he treats me has caused my temper to rise many, many times.
My biggest issue with Amy is her inability to control her anger. She literally wrecks the house when she gets mad.
If Zurich doesn't change, I'm gone. I'm done with this marriage. It's time for me to have a life of my own.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Amy Buckner and Zurich Buckner. Mr. and Mrs. Buckner, you have been together for 8 years, married for 3, but you don't have any children together. You two seem to be at the end of the road for a variety of reasons. So, Mrs. Buckner, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me what's going on in your marriage and why you're here in divorce court today?
Well, he was originally my first boyfriend at age 12, and we kind of went our separate ways. He was love at first sight at that age. As we grew older, we ran back into each other in 2007, and we've been together ever since. Things were great, like in the beginning of our relationship. It's like the problem started, I'd say probably about 8 months after we got married.
And what started happening?
His condescending attitude, the way he speaks to me, it's just outrageous. It's like he lectures me as if I'm a child.
Give me an example of something he's lectured you about and the language that he's used to, and tone he used to do it in.
Okay, I can give you a perfect example. Last night, we were on Venice Beach, and my phone was going dead. And he was walking toward the parking lot, speaking with the guy, selling something or something. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna run up here and try to get a picture of the ocean before my phone dies. And he was like, okay. So I went up and got to the ocean and my phone died. So I had to go to a little shy shop and ask him if I could plug my phone in. In the process of that, I got my phone plugged back in and got it on.
She should have came back.
Hang on, Mr. Buckner, I'm gonna be back. Right with you. Go ahead.
I got my phone plugged back in, and as soon as I turned it on, I had 11 voice messages from him in a matter of 5 minutes.
No,
so,
it wasn't 5
what was
minutes.
he saying?
It was probably about
15,
8 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. But whatever it was, I couldn't have charge on my phone, period, because it was dead. I had to get charge on it. So I finally got my charge on, and I picked up, and I'm like, hey, babe, where you at? I'm walking toward the tennis court. You know where we are? You could have been, anything could have happened to you. You need to stay by me. Stay by me. I'm thinking to myself, I'm 37 years old. I can't walk up and take a picture of the beach.
Well, you know, I didn't say
Now,
that.
Mr. Buckner, why don't you tell me your version of that event?
This is the truth of what happened, though. Actually, once we got to the beach, you know, she said she was gonna go see the ocean. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna be standing right here. She said her phone was going dead. I stood right there. I look, she's gone. Like, you called me because we were, you know, I was getting her the way back to her room. I was paying for the Uber or the Lyft or whatever.
Right.
You know, I got to give you the ride. I'm trying to go on and get in for the night. You should have just came back where I was. You know, I told you I was standing there. You went on off somewhere else for 20 minutes.
Telling me
and
to
went
stay
and
there.
charged the phone and everything.
Well, Mr. Buckner, you say no matter what you say to her, she gets enraged and goes from 0 to 100 in no time. Give me an example of, is that true, first of all? Is that an accurate reflection of what occurred?
Yeah, that's true.
Tell me what she does.
For every action, there's a reaction.
Mrs. Buckner?
She gets too angry. She goes way out of control. She destroys the house. She want to throw everything out of the drawers, snatch the drawers out, flip over the TV, throw the mattress off the bed. I have actually some evidence. I have evidence of this.
Okay. Do you know what caused these particular ones, or does it happen so often you don't know which one
I
belongs
really don't
to
know
which?
because it happens so often because it could be an argument over some social media stuff because she's addicted to the social media. And then the TV is actually on the floor. I'm surprised she hasn't broke the screen yet, the flat screen. And I keep my stuff organized, folded up in my drawer, color coordinated. So she know that really upsets me when you throw all my clothes.
Now, Mrs. Buckner, what would provoke you to tear up your own stuff like that?
How about him following me around with the phone, recording every argument and everything I'm saying? When you got somebody following you around with the phone like this, oh, yeah, keep it up, provoking me, I go through the roof. I bought everything, why can't I tear it up?
I think he was following you around with the phone because you're already there's no reason to follow you around with the phone if you're sitting there, honey, I don't think this is a good idea. But if you're doing all like that, then there's a reason to follow you with the phone. So I think your nonsense was before him following you with the phone.
And then I gotta keep my phone.
It got so bad, I had, like, this is only touching the base. He done put so many people in our business when we having a disagreement or an argument. I got so frustrated. We was arguing in front of his child one day. I left work and packed up all my stuff and drove 15 hours to New Mexico and planned on relocating. I mean, I didn't even stop but to get gas.
That didn't make any sense there. That just didn't make any sense.
What were you arguing about that made you pack up from your job and drive to Mexico?
We started having a disagreement, and his child was right there, and he continued and persisted on just putting our business out there.
Okay. Well, how old is the child?
Well, she's 21. She's
21. She's not a kid.
She's not a kid.
And were you confiding in her? Were you asking what to do, or were you just around?
Well, this is my daughter, so she comes over the house often. So she come over and, I don't know, I disagree with her about something. I have my own opinion. She don't think I should. But I had my own opinion about something, and I voiced it, and she got upset. And she started doing what she do, going off about something that's really not that important to be getting that upset about. So she started snapping. I started walking towards the door, leaving the house. My daughter was there. She hear it. She saw it. So we're walking together, and I was like, hey, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm ready to go.
It's because this happens all the time.
Because this happens all the time. And she got upset because I even said that to her. You don't need to tell her nothing. Well, she's right here. She see you acting a fool. So, you know, I'm just speaking on what she sees. She's not blind. And I'm headed out the door. I'm trying to keep it cool. I don't want any more problems because my daughter here. So I don't want to, you know, antagonize you by arguing with you back. You know?
I got you, Mr. Buckner. I got you. Does she have some legitimate safety concerns about the location of the house, Mr. Buckner?
No, we stay on a nice block. Our block is pretty safe. Now, it's not that bad. It's bad everywhere. There's a lot of areas bad, but you know.
There's a lot of areas that aren't. I would like to live in a nice area to where if I want to go out and take my dog for a walk, I don't have to worry about getting killed that day.
Mrs. Buckner, you say one of the reasons you're always so angry is because you have to work 2 jobs because he's not taking care of his end of the business. Explain that to me.
I feel like
not true. Now, you know that's
I
not true.
feel like this. Me at the age I am, I'm pushing 40. My husband's over 40. And we are living in a house that my father passed down to us in not a good area. I've been wanting to relocate for the past 3-4 years, and I understand it takes finances to do that. But if we had 2 good incomes, we would be able to accomplish this. He may pay all the bills. However, I pay all the taxes and I buy every piece of furniture in that house. It's a 2-way street. We need to...
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think he's purposefully underemployed?
I think he is going through, I don't know, a midlife crisis.
I'm not that old.
What do you mean a midlife crisis? I mean he's paying the bills.
He's paying the bills, but he's paying the bills with also what I put into the bills. It's not just him.
So you're both paying the bills. What's the problem?
We live in a very dangerous neighborhood. I'm ready to advance.
She gives me $100 out of her check. I don't ask her for much. She can brag to her friends and she don't even really have to work because I'm going to pay everything regardless. She there or not, I'm going to pay because I'm a man like that. That's what I do. I like lights and all that. So I make sure we have that, you know. And then I buy all the hygiene, I buy all the cleaning, I buy all whatever food, anything for the house. The little money I ask her, I just ask her because to motivate her to get a job and make money.
But don't you believe you ought to kick in, Mrs. Buckner? Don't you think that's part of your job?
Of course I believe you ought to kick in, but my focus is trying to live better.
She wants to
We're in a house that's not up to par. We are in almost...
But I have put it up to
Stop. I'm looking to eventually establish enough credit to where I can get a home loan and we can move out of the neighborhood we in because it's so dangerous.
I feel as if she's trying to keep up with the Jones. She don't appreciate what she has.
When we got patches
she
on our
roof. She don't appreciate anything that she has, you know what I'm saying? She has furniture, but she destroys the furniture, so yeah, she buys the furniture, you know? So, and then the house is passed down, you know, I don't feel she's grateful. You know, I think that was it was very loving of him to pass down a home to us.
Does she have some legitimate safety concerns about the location of the house, Mr. Buckner?
No, we stay on a nice block. Our block is pretty safe. Now,
I can't even
if you leave
jog
off
without
the
getting
block,
kidnapped.
it might be an issue, but she has no reason to really go walking throughout the other
But
blocks.
there's only one block she can safely
Well,
walk on?
it's not really, honestly, that bad. It's not that bad. It's bad everywhere. There's a lot of areas bad, but you know.
There's a lot of areas that aren't.
But she want to live like
And it's racial tension.
the Rockefellers.
I don't want to live like the Rockefellers. I would like to live in a nice area to where if I want to go out and take my dog for a walk, I don't have to worry about getting killed that day.
She didn't have enough money to afford for a procedure to get done in the United States, so, you know, she went to the Dominican Republic and almost didn't make it back. As soon as she got back to the United States off the plane, she went straight from the plane to the emergency room. She could have died.
Mr. Buckner, tell me about some of the decisions you say that she's made that were just terribly bad.
Crazy. Well, she's addicted to the internet. So everything going on the internet, she's on the social media sites and she'll just jump on anything like plastic surgery. Women out here got all these plastic surgery groups and she getting into the groups and she even got caught up in one and she decides she wants to go
There's
out.
a plastic surgery group?
Oh,
200 of them, all
yeah.
secret on Facebook. I was part of them all.
It doesn't make sense, those groups, but she got caught up looking at pictures, thinking she's gonna create her own body.
What are
and
they doing? You guys encourage each other to get
Yeah.
stuff moved?
They go.
It's crazy. It's a whole like.
So
So what did she do?
So they mutilate themselves. They encourage you to go do that. And so what she did, she said, well, I don't
Mutilate?
have...
Tell me what she did.
She didn't have enough money to afford for a procedure to get done in the United States. So, you know, she didn't went and took $9,000 of our money. $9,000. And went to the Dominican Republic. And almost didn't make it back. Now, it was a botched procedure. She went over there, and after the procedure, they just threw her in her room.
How botched was it?
It was, actually, I got some photos, I got some evidence.
You take pictures of everything, don't you?
Of what this was like, and I'm talking about, as soon as she got back to the United States off the plane, she went straight from the plane to the emergency room. Doctors didn't want to touch her because she just been cut on in a whole nother country. They don't know what she did to her. And she was she could have died. She was having infections running through her body. Her skin started melting away, like sitting there. She was just sitting in the room after the hospital. They really didn't know what to do for her. And her skin just started eating away. Her stomach or all the way around to her back just melting away, burned, like falling off. Holes and destroyed her.
I mean, I'm looking at it right here. Mrs. Buckner, first of all, I'm so very sorry you went through that. I really am. And I can't believe you went and got liposuction because you thin as a rail. I don't know if they liposucted a whole lot because there's not a whole lot there.
Trying to get a waist.
But
trying to get a butt, be honest.
No, a waist size. She trying, I want the hourglass. She was fine how she was.
Now, Mrs. Buckner, first, I got a couple of problems with it. First of all, don't get in groups that encourage you to do outrageous things. You have to make those decisions personally and on your own. Number two, don't leave the country because it's cheaper somewhere else. You can get cheap shoes somewhere, that's okay, but not cheap surgery. And number three, if you're spending $9,000 on liposuction you really didn't need, that belies the argument that you're looking to get a house somewhere else. That $9,000 could have been a down payment.
I know. I was not thinking clear, and I lived and learned from that mistake. That's a path I'm never going back down.
They was angry with me afterwards that I didn't
support me. I'm dying. I got I'm 170 pounds full of flu, and he's like, you shouldn't have went. You shouldn't have went. You see what happened? Look at
Now, Mr. Buckner, did you fuss at the woman whose skin was dying on his belly? Did you fuss?
I probably did say a few things.
A lot of things.
But I didn't say that much, I think.
Big.
But,
Mr. Buckner, there's a time and place for
everything. Think
everything.
twice before you do that again. You know what I'm saying?
Not when I'm dying, though, and trying to get my accounts together.
She was still mad. She still was fighting mad, though. She was hurt, but when I said that, she was still fighting mad, angry at me.
Now, Mr. Buckner, there's a time and place for I told you so. While she's in the emergency room isn't one of those times. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Quickly, I just want to address this one issue, and then I'm going to say a couple of things and see where we can go from here as a couple. First of all, Mrs. Buckner, you say that he wants more kids, you can't have kids, and he's on you about that. Is that accurate?
No, he doesn't want any kids. And I became pregnant last year, November. I had went to the Dominican in March, and when I became pregnant in November, it was ectopic pregnancy. And so I had to have partial hysterectomy. They had to remove the whole left side because what happened was the burn that he caused in me, it actually fused my fallopian tube to my colon.
Yeah.
So they had to cut me open and do a whole lot of extensive stuff. And now it's like when I say something like you shouldn't be doing that in front of your kids, or you should be encouraging your kids to go to college, which I'm not a parent. The first thing he says is, you can't even have no kids, so how you speaking about it? The Lord didn't bless you with that.
Well,
Mr. Buckner, please tell me you didn't.
Now, I won't say it like that. It might be, she's gonna be crazy with, like, she's arguing, yelling, and I might say, you know, don't...
What's the dumbest thing she's ever argued with you about?
The people on social media, just the issues on social media. You know, you wake up in the morning, I'm getting ready for work or something, and she just go off, look at this person. Why they? I'm like, hey, it's too early in the morning.
Do you get wild and crazy over comments on Facebook?
I do.
And how old are you again?
I'm talking about
37.
37 years old, and you lose your mind over comments in Facebook. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That's just some high school stuff. Stop
is.
it. Let it go.
I mean,
You got a good guy here, you fussing and hollering, you throwing chairs around, all that kind of stuff. You can't control the situation if you can't control yourself. You can't control your marriage if you don't know what to get angry about. You can't know what to get angry about if you're not calm and rational and listening to people. You know, and I'm talking to you too.
Yeah.
I think she's a tornado, but you a bit of a storm yourself.
I can take that, but...
And I think you're nice people. But you have to be able to have a conversation.
We can't.
And we can't.
Yes, you can. My mother always said the word can't is a word that people throw around as a mantra to mediocrity. If you're a pregnant woman and you having contractions, you can't stop that. If you're a man and you're having a seizure, you can't stop that. But you can stop being ignorant.
Well...
Yeah.
Wow.
You have complete control over your tone of voice, what you say, when you say it, how you say it, what you do. You have complete control over how you feel. Other people can affect it, but you determine what it is. I wrote a book called My Mother's Rules, and it's all about that instant between what you feel and what you do, and how to make that instant make what you do less stupid. I suggest you both read it. This matter is adjourned.
Judge Lynn Toller gave me some amazing advice to just sit back and try to communicate better and keep my anger under control. And I plan on utilizing that to the best of my ability. I really want this to work.
And I hope so. I hope it does, because I got from it that I need to probably, you know, watch how I talk and how I, you know, approach the situations. And hopefully, you know, we can probably work on this and we might be able to make this marriage work.
I sure hope so, babe.
Me too.